What is up, guys? My name is JR, aka the SinisterCamaro. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be covering a very controversial topic in the automotive community, but I'm going to give you all the ins and outs and what I've experienced over the last 5 years of owning a vertical door kit. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, now before we get started, I just want to put a disclaimer on this video that of course, these doors are not going to be for everybody's liking and taste, but in the custom automotive world, you're going to see stuff like this all over the place. So instead of just going along with what everybody else says about don't do it, it's stupid, in this video we're going to cover everything you need to know about them, all the pros, all the cons, and everything you need to know about what to expect when doing something like this to your car. So you'll know if you want something like this for your show car, or just your everyday car that you just want something a little customized to it. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I just want to say that I had a professional shop about 2-3 hours away install these doors. They did about 50 other Camaros like mine before it, so I knew they knew what they were doing because a lot of people kept going to them. So just to let you know, if you try to do this yourself or have some cheap shop do it, you're going to get what you pay for. Go ahead and get a reputable shop to actually install these for you and just avoid the headache that you have going for you ahead of time, because there's a little bit of modifications you got to do to make this stuff fit and work. So make sure you have the right people doing it. The door kit itself is going to run you around $1,000. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's about $1,000 just depending on where you live, taxes, everything like that. I've got a promo code down below in my description if you want to check that out. That might save you some money, but just let them know that SinisterCamaro sent you when you order them. Installing labor, that's going to run you anywhere from $800 to $1,200 depending on who installs it. Again, get a reputable shop to do it, because I've seen some other YouTubers do this and install these kits by people who didn't know what they were doing, and then they hated the kits. It messed up their car, it chipped their paint because they didn't do it right. So make sure you have a reputable shop that does it the first time so that you don't run into these issues like they did. And don't take people's word for it. Do your research yourself. If you want this done, make sure you do your own research before getting into it. So the first thing people ask me all the time about this kit is, how does it work? How does it look? How do you install it? So if we look in here, you'll see this is your strut right here. This is what basically holds your door up. This black bar right here, all in this door, that is your brace. That's what you're replacing the stock stuff with. There's a lot of metal, I will say, but it's not going to be a make or break deal if you're going for drag racing times and all that stuff, in my personal opinion. But it's a little girthy. You got to redo your wires and all that. Make sure to wrap them up tight. I've got to rewrap mine a little bit, so don't look at that mess right there. But I mean, it's a basic setup. You've got to do a little bit of cutting out in the fender. Now, in this fender, you will have a piece of styrofoam in here and a little bit like of metal hiding it here. I will say that you have to do a little bit of cutting, so beware of that. So just keep in mind you're gonna have to do just a little bit of cutting inside of this fender to get it to work right, and you have to remove that styrofoam. Now what that's going to cause, I've noticed during the winter, a lot of airflow goes through this fender and kind of makes its way into the cabin itself. So that's a little bit of a downer, but I mean, it's not really noticeable. I didn't notice it until about a year or two after having it. That's not going to be like a make or break deal for me, but I definitely wanted something custom, so I went with it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not. Right there, yep. So you see that little bump stop right there? So that's your little rubber bump stop that your arm has to go over in order to go up. So the next question that people always ask me about these doors is, how does it work? Can you get it up with one arm? How heavy is it? And what do I need to replace? So we'll get to what needs to be replaced in a little bit, but for now I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Now as you can see, you're going to lose about half of your swing area for this door. This is as far out that it goes now, and to be honest, I thought it was pretty ridiculous the amount of area space you had to use in order to get this door fully open. So this doesn't bother me a bit. You've got plenty of area. I can stand right here to get in the car. I mean, if you were a bigger guy, I mean, you might have a little bit of trouble with it, but basically it still comes out far enough for me to get groceries and stuff out of the car. But people don't realize that you can just sit here and open and close the door like you normally would all day long. That's really one of the things that shocks people about this door, is that you have to think that all it does is just go up. No, that's not how it works. Lamborghinis, that's how it works. On the Aventador, you open the door, it goes straight up, and that's the only thing it does. With these doors, you can do both. So you can open up the regular way and look a normal person, or you can throw it up in the air if you're at a car show or gas station, or if you want to just show off a little bit. So that's totally up to you. It's pretty reasonable to do. But as you can see, when I lift up on this, that bump stop stops me from going up right here, because if it didn't, it would damage your fender, you would damage your door. So that's like a safety precaution to have right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to swing out a little bit wider. Up, bump stop again. So we got to go even wider. So right here is where you can start picking it up and lifting it. It does take a little bit of strength, because I mean, these are like the 2 doors. If you have the 4-door car option, of course, it's going to be a smaller area to work with. But since these are so long, they are very heavy compared to the 4-door option. But I like the 2-door better than the 4 doors myself. But you're going to need just a little bit of strength to get it up. It all depends on your area, and we'll get to that in just a second. Now, just a disclaimer, one of the things you're going to run into, and that's with anything that opens that has a strut attached to it. The more you use it, the more the gas in that strut is going to be released. Therefore, you're going to have to replace it over time. Now, I've owned this for over 5 years, and this started happening about 2 years ago. In the summer, you know how molecules expand, so the strut is much easier to lift this door up and keep it up. However, in the winter time, the molecules get smaller in the strut, therefore it will fall on elevated surfaces. Now, on my driveway here, there is a little bit of a slant up to the top of the driveway, so I'll show you. With all the uses that I've had for this at car shows and gas stations, or just for pictures, this is a door that you tend to lift up a lot, just because it's the driver's side. You don't really have as many people on your passenger side when you're using these. But you can see it falls down. Just like that. So you have to be very aware of that when your strut starts to go out. You have to make sure to replace those struts every once in a while. But again, after having these for over 5 years, and it's just now starting to do that, after all the lifts that we've done with this, for it being as heavy as it is, I mean, it's done pretty well for the 5 years that we've owned it, and it's just one little part that you have to replace. So over time, you're gonna have to replace that strut. So don't worry, just call the company. They will send you out a kit like this. This is my kit that I have to install. We'll do that on another video. But basically, you'll get your replacement strut, a couple of bolts, and a little pin. I'll look at it closer so you guys can see it. But you'll get a little kit like this, and all you have to do is just replace the strut on it, and you're ready to rock. Your strut's gonna cost you about $100 for the replacement, so it's not too bad, especially if you're in a custom car world and you've already spent the 2-3 grand on getting this installed. I mean, it's not gonna be that bad. Being a custom car owner, you gotta keep these things in mind, that not only do you have to spend the money to put them on, but you also have to spend the money to maintain them as well. So that's a big thing that a lot of people don't really get, but hopefully in this video you get that before installing this, so you'll know what to expect down the road. Also, I would like to also say that the struts are actually tested for your region. So if you live in the US where there's a large climate with humidity, like here in North Carolina, you'll get a certain strut with a certain gas weight to it. So basically, depending on where you live, they're going to send you a different strut. Depending on the weather, how it is in your area, whether you're up in the cold Canada, Alaska area, or you're in the blazing hot Florida, you're in Las Vegas, if you're in Maine, they have specific guidelines to their struts so they last longer for you. So they're a great company to work with, so make sure to call them to get your strut so they can get those things dialed in for you to make sure that you have 100% happy satisfaction process with this whole installation and changing out of the strut. So now that we've covered the things that to look after, basically the setup process and everything like that, I want to go over what brands that I would recommend for this kind of setup, what brands I would recommend for this kit, because there are a lot of fakes out there, there are a lot of phonies. There are a lot of people on eBay that are selling these kits for anywhere from $150 to $200, but again, you get what you pay for. So when I was younger and I wanted to do this, I had a 4-door Acura RL, and it was fully custom. Never took it to car shows or anything, but I wanted to do the Lambo door kit on the front, and I also wanted to do the suicide doors on the back, just to have that unique look for it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I did buy the kit that was like $150 off of eBay or something like that, and it was just straight up metal. It was tacky, it was terrible, and I could tell that it wouldn't last very long, so I ended up not doing it with them. So we just sold that kit and let somebody else kind of deal with that and let them know what we thought about it before we sold it to them. So we got to keep that car community going. I mean, we got to tell each other about these bad parts if we're going to sell them. If they want to deal with it, all the customization, everything you have to do for it, that's on them, because they actually had to weld that kit onto the inner fender. So we made sure to tell them that it's not like this kit right here that's pure bolt on and it bolts right up to whatever car you have. They have special makes and models that they make these kits for, and it's just straight up bolts up. You have to do a little bit of cutting, a little bit of styrofoam removal, but other than that, it's pretty much a straightforward process. It just takes a lot of time because you have to take all the fenders off and make sure everything's lined up. That's also another thing I want to talk about, lining this kit up. Before you start, go ahead around the door and take some masking tape and just tape up over all of the open areas around the door, between the door and the fender, the door and the side skirt, and then the back fender and the door. Just put as much tape as you can around it and mark it with some Sharpies, so that way when you actually put this kit on, you actually know where it lines up and you can get all that stuff straight before you put all the other pieces back on and then have to rip it back off to install it again. So that's just a pro tip for anybody out there. That's what they did with my doors, and they've been working ever since. Now, since the strut's been out, my door's been sagging just a little bit when I open the door. Again, that's a custom thing that you have to keep in mind when doing these kind of things. But all I have to do is basically just barely just put any little pressure up on the door handle when I'm closing it, and it seals perfect. So be on the lookout for that when your struts start to go bad. But that's pretty much the only issue that I've had with mine so far. So basically, what brand do I go with? Number one, stay off eBay and Amazon. Do not get those companies, okay? Just don't do it. Go to a local shop, a local reputable shop, or go online to Vertical Doors Inc. I will leave their information in the description below. Please, please, please do yourself a favor. Go with the best there is in these vertical door kits and go ahead and get their version of it, because I'm telling you, this bolt-on kit is a whole lot easier than those eBay kits for the reason that I stated earlier. Because of the welding that you need to do, you don't have to do that with this kit. You just basically paint the door hinge kit, slap it on, make sure everything's lined up, and boom, you're set. So Vertical Doors Inc. is the company that I would recommend for this. I'll leave a promo code and link below if you want to get a little bit of money off, or if you need help from Vertical Doors, just use my code and hopefully they'll save you a little bit of money too for checking out this video. Also, something I want to add, with all of this stuff being gone in the fender, I also want to let you know that there's a lot of dirt buildup that can be seen a lot better with the doors up like this. There's a lot of dirt that you can see inside the fender with the foam being gone from the back of it. So keep that in mind if you're doing car shows, that if you're doing really high-end car shows, they do check for that stuff. So make sure to clean your inner fenders just like you would the body of it, of the car, because trust me, they look inside of it, and they definitely do it with cars with this door conversion kit. They want to make sure that everything is spotless and clean, so make sure you do that. Of course, with this mod being an aftermarket kind of mod, you're going to have areas of primer showing where there should be paint, because they didn't expect people to open this up and do this conversion, so it would still look nice and neat and you wouldn't know anything about it. But just as a pro tip, paint inside your inner fenders the same color that you would on the door jambs, or wrap it, or do whatever you want. Just make sure that's covered up too, because that's going to cost you some points in the car show ring too. So that's just a pro tip for me. But guys, that's pretty much it. That's everything I can possibly think of about owning this kit. I will say again, there's a love-hate relationship in the automotive community with this door hinge kit, but if you want to stand out from the crowd at car shows, I mean, something like this would definitely set you off. I only see about 2 or 3 cars out of like the 300s of cars that we have out there at car shows that actually have this kit, and I can tell you that a lot of people get drawn in by it and want to run to it and see how it works and if they want to do it themselves. I have so many questions on it. I have so many people looking in the fender trying to see how it's done, but I hope this video really summarized everything you need to know about it. And if you got any friends that are questioning it or don't know much about it, send this video to them so they'll know. If they have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I'll answer as many as I possibly can. I'm no expert on it, but if I have any questions, I'll ask the guys over at Vertical Doors Inc. as well, and that we can get you some kind of answers. Also, to go with this video, as of right now, Vertical Doors Inc. is looking for a Chevrolet Corvette C8, the new C8 that just came out. They're looking for a prototype car to kind of mock up one of these kits for it. So if you know anybody, please reach out to them, tell them the SinisterCamaro sent you, and they'll hook you up and hopefully get you your first kit out of the whole entire world before they actually get put on a lot more of the C8s out there. Thank you guys for joining me. Make sure to leave a like on this video if it did help in any way, shape, or form. Subscribe to this channel if you did enjoy this content and you want to see more of it. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to see. For all the people in the comments that are very respectable and actually say they don't like it or they don't want it, but they appreciate, and they don't just sit there and be toxic in my comment section, I just want to say thank you very much for being awesome. Like I said, it's not for everybody. I know a lot of people wouldn't do this to their car, but you know what? I'm not everybody. I have a different set of tastes. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. That's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Don't forget, always remember to stay sinister.
Perfect. Perfect.